Part of the premise of my film Dragon Priest, which is a title in which the Lord gifted to me, and at the time when He gave it to me, I didn't have any clue that there was a animated type of a war game similarly titled. You see, the dragon comes from my background history and education both in America and outside of America, and priest comes from the nature of my faith, and openly that makes sense to me. Light provision is what we give to people when we try to enlighten them on their life, and we prove to them in those moments of time that God really knows them. Because the things we can say to a total stranger, much like any medium, channel, or oracle can do, proves to them that the light of the Lord knows who they are and knows what they can do and who they can become. But the real quest for every human being, the quest for manhood, the quest for womanhood if you're a girl, is that you have to figure out what God has enlightened you to do. Providing light to people is what a priest does. Providing love to people is what I do as a husband, and openly I'm still waiting for that one to get the message. For me, I've had over 10,000 signs for that girl. I do have a couple of other women that are of interest to me. I have a soulmate who is already involved with something, and that makes it hard for her to be her best self. She has been debilitated by that relationship because I don't like the whining that she did. But it was a marvelous 2 months, and it could have gone farther, but she wasn't mature enough to handle the people around her. There's 2 other people that just have been stepped by the Lord into my perspective. Let's face it, I'm a homeless man who doesn't watch television and no longer really enjoys going to the movies because A, we're in a time of COVID, which we're not really doing that anymore. B, I don't really get a chance to see a lot of previews. And C, I'm not all that marveled around Halloween time of what's out there. But 2 names have been put in front of me, and I'm sort of surprised about them both. On the one hand, I'm totally enlightened by a fairly well-educated girl, but I'm actually wondering whether I met her in her youth at an event when I was there seated with my wife, and I was there also to be interviewed by someone who was in town at that time. And I got that interview, but I'm pretty sure I deleted it by now because I couldn't stand the woman afterwards. But that's not the point. The point is that I might have met this other person, but I never got her name then. Isn't it interesting how God does things? The other gal is someone who I have just been put, literally, in front of by God, who basically spelled the name out in some way in the last week. And I just sit there and I go, holy shit. And I realize why God did it, because she could play the parts in the film that I've scripted. She could probably play both girls in the way that she looks and feels and acts and behaves, and every bit of her Libra and dog combination. But the reality is I'm just blown away by the talent, and I am someone who definitely sees and observes the concepts of that.